Welcome back to Amplify Outside. I'm your host, Ian John Solomon, and today we are talking trees. Now, we could have an entire season of this podcast dedicated to trees in Detroit and beyond, but today we're honing in on a big mission in this city that's recently received a boost of resources and visibility: maintaining the tree canopy. A tree canopy is the layer of leaves, branches, and stems of trees that cover the ground when viewed from above. So imagine taking a bird's eye view of a neighborhood. You'd be able to gauge the tree canopy by the amount of street that's blocked by greenery. When it comes to Detroit, our tree canopy has had a rough go of it. In its current state, it may even surprise you that Detroit was originally deemed the city of trees. And that was by all means true up until about the 1950s, when Dutch elm disease began wiping out vast amounts of Detroit's elms through the 80s. The city then replaced many of the elms with ash trees. And unfortunately, 15 years later, in the early 2000s, just as those ash trees were reaching into more mature stages, came the emerald ash borer, an invasive beetle that absolutely decimated Detroit's ash tree population. We lost an estimated 99% of our ash trees. In just 3 years, our tree canopy went from 31% cover to just 22%. The general consensus is that 40% tree cover should be a city's goal. And if you're wondering what that may look like, you should take a stroll through neighborhoods near Rouge Park or Palmer Woods and Sherwood Forest. Those all hover around the 40% mark. And if you want to see some exceptional tree cover, Indian Village has over 50% tree canopy. Now, if you know anything about Detroit's neighborhoods, just hearing the name Indian Village probably puts some cartoon-style dollar signs in your eyes, which makes sense. Dense tree canopy has a direct relationship to high-income neighborhoods. Studies show having a dense, mature tree canopy in a neighborhood can increase an individual's home value by nearly 10%, and that balloons to even 15% if the neighborhood is already deemed high income. But we know health is true wealth. The American Lung Association, unfortunately, just rated Detroit an F when it comes to air quality. And while the real answer to that problem is decreasing the amount of pollutants that enter the air, trees absolutely help to pull out those pollutants and increase fresh oxygen in spaces. On top of air quality, healthy tree canopies help reduce the heat island effect. The heat island effect describes the phenomenon of urban areas experiencing significantly higher temperatures than more rural areas due to an increase in asphalt, concrete, and a decrease of green spaces. Without a healthy tree canopy, there's less shade, not just making the daytime hotter, but allowing the asphalt to soak up all that heat during the day and release it during the night, giving communities less time to recover from daytime heat events. Studies show that nighttime recovery period is critical to preventing heat-related illnesses. From better economics to better health, there's not much to say against building a healthier tree canopy in cities, but it's still an extremely nuanced situation. And as we know, the realities of Detroit tend to stretch the nuance of environmentalism far and wide. Just yesterday, May 7th, as I was preparing for this episode, Michigan State University released an article detailing new research on the health, particularly stress effects of tree canopies across different racial groups. We expect it to be pretty simple, right? More trees around you, less stress in the body. And that was true for everyone except Black participants. The research found that where healthy tree canopies made for far less stress than white participants, the needle didn't actually move for the Black participants. To quote the article, the findings suggest that while urban greening is a vital public health tool, it must be paired with efforts to address the root causes of social and economic inequality for the most vulnerable groups to reap its benefits. So what does that mean for a city like Detroit, a majority Black city that's doing the work to heal communities through healing a tree canopy?
Interested in renting space for corporate events, meetings, conferences, social events, or resource fairs? The Stoudemire Wellness Hub and Match Detroit Small Business Hub are available for rental by members, residents, businesses, and organizations. We offer rentals for activities such as corporate events, social events, meetings, conferences, art classes, fitness classes, and more. To learn more about our rentals and reserve space, visit ecn-detroit.org/space rental.
To discuss this nuance, we're talking with Lionel Bradford, the president of Greening of Detroit, a nonprofit focused on serving and empowering Detroit communities in the development of healthy green and productive landscapes, to shed some light on the nuances of tree canopy for a healthier and wealthier Detroit. Lionel, thank you so much for coming and being here with me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always like to get started with, how did your relationship to the outdoors or green space start?
Well, I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so that's a sportsman's paradise down there. So the outdoors we love. Grew up doing a lot of fishing and hunting with my dad, and just really being outdoors a lot. And so I quickly developed a genuine love for the environment.
And you said something to me a little earlier about an urban forestry degree.
Yes. I graduated from Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I have a degree in urban forestry. Southern was the first 4-year bachelor's degree program in urban forestry in the country.
Wow, really? That's amazing. I mean, coming from Louisiana all the way with that background, not even just with the degree, but kind of having that, you grew up with it, right? It's a little different up north, and especially in like Black communities. So do you see any, differences from Louisiana to Southeast Michigan?
Oh, there are a lot of differences. I mean, I think that, number one, the weather. The weather plays a big role in that,
Yeah.
that we're able to be outdoors year-round just about. But as a kid, and I think it's important for the youth here in Detroit to really understand that you don't have to go far out to be in a forest. I mean, you can be in your backyard and be in a forest, and that's some of the things that we teach through our environmental education courses, really getting the youth involved in the environment at an early age.
Man, that is so important. And so much of the work that y'all are doing over at Greening is so incredible. Today, we are really focused on the tree canopy, though. Can you give me just a little background about where Detroit's at as a tree canopy city? What brought us there? Where we at present day?
Yeah, definitely. And first of all, the Greening of Detroit, we are a nonprofit environmental organization. We've been around since 1989. And so taking care of the forest within Detroit is our goal. And so right now, the city of Detroit, most people don't know, but Detroit was once known as the Paris of the Midwest because of its tree canopy cover. And so between 1950 and 1980, we lost well over 500,000 trees in the city due to disease, Dutch elm, you name it. Also, urbanization had a lot to play in that. But more importantly, the city didn't have the resources to take care of the trees that we had as well. So lost quite a bit of trees. And so the organization was actually, we were formed, we came about to combat that issue. Since our inception, we planted over 177,000 trees throughout the city. And so right now, Detroit has a tree canopy coverage of about 24%. A city the size of Detroit should be at about 40%. And so that gap represents that 16% gap represents about 500,000 trees.
Wow.
And so we have a ways to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And thinking about it, I'm thinking about Detroit and our surrounding suburbs, and it seems like they weren't hit as hard maybe with some of those disease issues. Do you know why? Maybe there seems like be a border, I guess, on like the disease and the problems that kind of struck Detroit.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was just Detroit. I think it was prevalent throughout. But I think the difference is that the financial means to replant and maintain trees in the suburbs was there. We didn't have that in Detroit.
Gotcha.
And so we have to make up that gap.
Gotcha. So in maintaining or approaching that gap, what are some of the ideas that Greening is coming with? There's planting trees, but I'm sure there are so many things in the background before you even get to that tree being in the ground, right?
Exactly. I think the number one thing that we have to think about when you talk about planting trees or really doing anything in the community is community engagement. It starts with engagement with the Greening of Detroit. I think that residents should have a say in what's going on in their neighborhoods. And we don't we plant trees, but we don't want to enforce our will on anyone.
Yeah.
And so making sure that we're properly engaging residents and they invite us into the communities to plant trees, not only invite us in, but be a part of what we're doing. I think that makes it more sustainable. And so we really, really focus on community engagement. We get in the neighborhoods, we knock on doors, we talk to residents, we're at block clubs, you name it. And so to get a tree in the ground, I think you need to start with engaging the community, because we're planting in public spaces in front of folks' homes. So, we want them to be a part of that and come on board with us.
Okay. I know some people listening to this may be thinking, why wouldn't somebody be on board with another tree in the neighborhood? So what are the things that you're trying to combating or ideas that you're kind of combating in these community engagement sessions to get people on board?
Well, I mean, I'm a realist, and trees are not top of mind for everyone. I mean, folks are thinking about how to put food on the table, jobs, you name it. And so we have to really talk about the importance of trees. A lot of folks have a bad taste in their mouth about trees because they weren't maintained. The city didn't have the resources. And so, roots knocking up concrete. Trees growing into power lines, dead branches falling on cars, on houses. And so those are a lot of things that we have to combat in terms of what we do in terms of planting trees. And so really engaging residents, educating residents on putting the right tree in the right place at the right time is key.
So from my understanding, most of Detroit's tree canopy right now is mostly maples, right?
Yeah, we got about 30% of the trees in the city are maples.
That doesn't sound
so
right.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with elm trees when Dutch elm came. We wiped them all out. When emerald ash borer came more recently, knocked out well over 1 million trees.
Wow.
And so the key here is to be very diverse in terms of the species mix that we plant. And at the Greening of Detroit, we plant maybe about 32 different species of trees.
Okay. Are those all native trees?
Not all native, but we try our best to plant natives when we can.
Okay. What may be like the reason that you choose not to plant some native trees?
Well, basically, the access to those trees.
Okay.
And that's a big reason why we at the Greening of Detroit have our own tree nursery now. We're growing trees for a number of reasons. One, to cut down on our carbon footprint because we're shipping trees in. But more importantly, just to control our own destiny. And so we are planting trees out in Rouge Park at Myers Nursery, which is the old city's tree nursery. We basically reshaped that and got it up and going. Been maintaining that space now for about 20 years. And so we are planting about, again, 32 different species of trees over there.
Wow. Okay, so you said the old city's tree nursery. So Detroit had a tree nursery already.
Yes, they did.
Wow.
We did. Actually, every tree that was planted in the city came out of that nursery at one point.
Are you serious?
Walter Myers was the first forester for the city of Detroit. And so that's why it's called Myers Nursery.
Wow. I had no idea.
Right in Rouge Park.
Yeah, right in Rouge Park. I think so much of, as I've been learning about Detroit environmentalism, is there was so much happening, before our worst times, economically that people just don't even know about. And so a lot of this isn't new. It's more of like a continuation or reinvigorating. Wow. That's
exactly.
And using our parks.
Yeah, and it's about resources as well because the city, again, lacked the resources to maintain that nursery.
Yeah.
And so we fortunately raised some funds to go in there and really whip it into shape.
Wow. That's amazing to hear. And of course, I'm a big parks guy. So it's nice to hear that it's a part of a part of our parks. So I did read something recently that said the U.S. forestry, right, is closing down a bunch of offices in Michigan. Will that affect any of the work that Greening's doing?
Well, I think that with the Forest Service, long-time partner with the Forest Service, great outfit. And they've seen some cuts. They've seen some cuts with this administration. And so it doesn't affect what we're doing right now, but it has affected things nationwide. And so we only just keep our fingers crossed and keep doing the work until we feel the pinch.
Okay. And so I believe, if I'm correct, the Nature Conservancy has kind of come in recently and hope to alleviate, if you do feel that pinch, maybe they can help out a little bit. What is that partnership looking like?
Yes, the Nature Conservancy is a longtime partner of the Greening of Detroit. More recently, really came into a collaboration that we have called Detroit Tree Partnership, which is with the city of Detroit, ourselves, the Greening of Detroit, DTE Energy is our corporate partner, and now the Nature Conservancy is a national partner, so to speak, but they are statewide here as well. So, but the Nature Conservancy, I believe in collaboration. I call it collective efficacy. And so being collaborative and working with partners really help you accelerate impact. And so we're happy to have the Nature Conservancy work with us.
Yeah. What is some of the work or that collaboration focused on?
Right now, we have an initiative to plant 75,000 trees over 5 years, and we started that back in 2002. And so we're well on our way. We're about 60,000 trees in the ground, and so another 15,000 to go. What this has done, though, since 2022, the Greening of Detroit has really, this initiative has really helped Detroit, the Greening build our capacity to do more.
Okay.
And so we see that as a plus. We know that we have a long ways to go in terms of closing that gap to getting a 40% tree cover canopy here in Detroit. And so with these partners together, hopefully we can keep accelerating and moving on the work that's been done.
Absolutely. And I've read a little bit about building a database, is it? Or some sort of archive of the trees that are already here? How does that serve the work? Like,
yeah. I mean, I think that since we've been planting, of course, we've had data just to inform us on, where we need to plant, how we need to plant, what we need to plant, you name it. But the city of Detroit has had data as well.
Okay.
DTE Energy has something called some data from LIDAR, which they flew planes over the city to look at the tree canopy cover here. And so trying to pull all that data together to make it make sense, so to speak, and inform us in terms of the decisions that we make moving forward is pretty neat.
Awesome. And I'm just hearing so many resources, right?
Yes.
Lots of resources, which likely means lots of money as well. What are what's the finances of this? How much does it cost to plant a tree, and does that tree return the investment?
Well, right now, we like to say about $1,000 a tree.
Okay.
And that's holistic in terms of community engagement. There's a workforce development component to this, the trees themselves, what they cost, but more importantly, maintenance. Okay. We have to maintain what we're planting, or else we won't get there. We're not just planting to plant. We don't want these trees to die. We want them to live, of course. And so it's a lot of resources, a lot of money. We don't have it, but we're trying to raise it, and we're hoping folks can come on board and really understand the importance of this and help us get to our goals.
Awesome. Do the trees return that investment when you make it in?
Oh, definitely. Okay. About every tree that you plant, there's about $1.47 of economic benefit. And so that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You talk about stormwater retention. Trees really help with that in terms of keeping water out of folks' basements. So the more trees we can plant, the less likely you're going to have basements back up. You look at just aesthetics in general. I mean, trees make people feel good.
Yeah.
You look at heat island effect, how this summer, it's going to be about 3% hotter than it was last summer.
Wow, really?
And so with all the gray infrastructure, meaning concrete and buildings that we have, we need more trees to cool areas.
And so that can help with people's, outside of the tree making money, that can help with people's energy bills, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely trees can slash energy bills probably about 2%. Wow. So that's pretty significant. And so the more trees we can plant, I mean, there's so many environmental benefits, breathing clean air, things of that nature, but there's that economic benefit as well.
Absolutely. And recently, and I mean very recently, like yesterday, Michigan State University released some research that they've been doing around tree canopy and, how it relates to people's health and from a stress-related perspective. And what was so interesting to me was they found that the tree canopy health effects were limited when it came to Black participants. Like all other races and demographics, it was like, pretty one-to-one, more trees, more health. But with Black folks, it wasn't the same. So that to me the research points to like a more nuanced way we have to approach environmentalism as Black communities. Mm-hmm. Is greening of Detroit and these tree planting efforts, are they taking that into account?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, environmental justice is what I like to call it, and we're big into that. We focus only in Detroit. That's where our work is done. And we've seen this across the country where you look at neighborhoods of color and then you see a less tree canopy cover than you see in the suburbs versus basically. And so we want to make Detroit just as green as Bloomfield Hills. And so the more trees we can get in the ground, the better we can build the canopy. And remember, we're not doing this work for us. I mean, the trees that we're planting are about 8 feet tall. For a tree to really give you the benefit, it's going to have to be about 30 feet. And so we're doing this for the next generation to come.
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes hard for people to think about, right?
Yeah.
It's like we are in a quick moving world. It's hard to start thinking in generations rather than weeks or months or things like that.
Yeah.
There are some like immediate benefits, though. From what I understand, there's a work program through Greening of Detroit that's, at least bringing jobs to the city. Exactly.
I think that's one component that we tend to talk about less, and we should talk about more. I mean, not only are we planting trees, but we're training people to do that type of work. We have an adult training program called Detroit Conservation Corps, where we train Detroiters who have barriers to employment. And so veterans, folks without high school diplomas, underemployed, you name it. We are training them right now. 60% of the folks that we train are returning citizens as well. And so we really believe everyone deserves a second chance. And so, to have someone that's been away for 15, 20 years coming home and looking for to rebuild their life, it's amazing to see them come through that program, get the training, get the credentials, and then they're out on crews working, planting trees and maintaining trees. And so there's a huge benefit when you talk about jobs and workforce development and how that pairs with planting trees.
Yeah, I think especially you having an urban forestry degree from the first, 4-year program that's ever existed. I know in my head, I think as Detroiters, Black Americans in general, green careers are not really front of mind, right? Like, where do you think we can fill that gap?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think it's about education. We have a youth employment program called Green Corps, which is part of our workforce development department. And with that program, we employ high school kids in the summer. This is another job that trees can bring because these folks are working. They're going out to maintain those trees that we planted. And so in the summer, when they need the water the most, those kids are out watering in crews and making money. So they have a job. But a big component of that program is the enrichment component, where we actually are introducing these youth to natural resource-related fields. And so if you don't know you can be a soil scientist or what an ecologist is, you'd never take that route. And so working with our partners at the Forest Service and the DNR to come in and talk with our youth and tell them what it is to be an ecologist, what it is to be a soil scientist, you name it, is really benefits those youth. And then we see some of our youth going off majoring in those careers, majoring in forestry or whatever at Michigan State. And so it's a real big part of the organization. One of our goals is to really cultivate that next generation of environmental stewards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know that's a big goal of this podcast as well. We're in Detroit, which is in the Great Lakes, which just has all of these natural resources. How do we make sure that us, our kids, our future generations have a seat at the table? And I really am excited about this tree canopy work because I think one of the barriers to seeing Detroit as a green city is this lack of tree canopy, right? You tell people that they ride down, maybe certain streets and they're like, this is not a green city. You're saying the Paris of the West, the city of trees.
What happened?
What happened, right? Exactly. So I guess, Are there areas in this city that you look to that are like, here's an example of, what this can look like when it's done right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that right now we're focusing on Southwest Detroit and over here on the east side as well. I think if you go down Connor and you see the trees that we planted in front of just along the whole thoroughfare there. There were no trees there. And now to see those trees standing makes the whole block look a little different. And so it's projects like that we've done all over the city that really makes a difference. And folks, they notice.
Yeah.
And so we have to continue to do that. But we have to do it in the neighborhood where it matters the most as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I see there's so much focus on the neighborhoods now, which I love to see with this new administration.
Yeah.
I was at the Green Task Force Awards for City Council a few weeks back, and Mary Sheffield announced something that I wasn't aware of, which is like this healthy initiative that she has around health in every single aspect of the city. Is that something Greening Detroit maybe had a hand in or is a part of that big plan?
Well, I'm not going to say we had a hand in terms of the mayor coming up with that, but part of our mission is a healthy Detroit, and so we've been pushing that since 1989. We've been talking about trees. We've been talking about environmental education, urban agriculture at one point. And so I think now what we see is a shift in the city. We just had a tree giveaway at Chandler Park, right around the corner here.
Yep.
Gave away 400 trees in less than an hour.
Really?
And so that
400.
That told me that residents want trees. We had a tree giveaway a year ago where the cars were lined up a mile long before we even started giving away trees. And so there's a shift coming.
Yeah.
I mean, not just with trees, but folks talking about healthy living. And so trees are a huge part of that.
Yeah. So for those residents that are looking to get new trees, or maybe some residents that have some trees and they're like, I don't really know how to take care of this thing. Are there some like simple tricks or, resources that they can look to better maintain them?
Yes. I mean, number one, water the tree. Water the tree, prune the tree, but more importantly, contact the Greening of Detroit. Our website is www.greeningofdetroit.com. We have about 5 foresters on staff that are very knowledgeable, that could love to help residents. That's what we do. And so give us a call. We'll definitely help.
Is that going to cost them anything?
Won't cost them anything.
Okay.
Just call us.
All right. Amazing. And so outside of taking care of their own trees, are there any other ways folks can get involved in this effort to get to, I think you said 15,000 trees over the next 2 years?
Yes.
Next 2 years. Okay. How can somebody's like, well, I want to get out there and plant a tree. How do they do that?
Well, come out and volunteer. Come out and volunteer. We plant every Thursday and Saturday in the spring and fall. And so our schedule is on our website again, www.greeningofdetroit.com. We need volunteers. So we want volunteers. And so if you want to be involved, please come out. We love to have them.
Okay, absolutely. Now, is there anything else you would like to share that maybe I didn't ask you tonight?
Well, I mean, I first of all, thank you for having me. This has been great. I think anytime that we can highlight the tree canopy in Detroit is a conversation that I want to be a part of. It's very important that we act and we act now. And, they always say, when is the best time to plant a tree? Yesterday. And so we want to, continue to plant the right tree at the right time in the right space.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I mean, I learned a lot in this conversation. I hope the folks hearing or listening learned a lot as well. And I'm excited. I'm going to get out there and volunteer myself.
Come on out. We love to have you and the crew.
Please. Yeah. Because I just think about, I see a lot of pictures of particularly Belle Isle, like old pictures of Belle Isle and around the city. I'm like, man, these trees are massive. I wish they were here right now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
and congratulations on the podcast. We wish you guys nothing but success.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.